Let's see if anybody catches that I just went live. Ta 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 ta. Come on, computer. There it comes. Ta ta ta. Come on, computer. There it comes. Ta ta ta. Come on. Evening, guys. Yeah, we're gonna do 2 hours tonight. And no, this was not planned to be me coming on at 8 o'clock, and I'm hoping to God that some people do figure this out. And I've noticed a couple of you have made comments on this in the comments. I was just kind of kicking around. Mrs. P and I were checking out the news, and Iran has hit the U.S. embassy in Iraq. Thank God Hillary's not Secretary of State. In case you guys have not seen this, okay, and I can understand if you haven't, because I went and looked, and Fox News, CNN, CBS, NBC, Breitbart, nobody in the U.S. media has reported this. This went down over 2 hours ago, okay? Mrs. P found it on the Russian news. I found it on Sky News Arabia. Like I've said to you guys many times, please check out the foreign press, because the U.S. press is worthless as tits on a boar. Here's the story. U.S. consulate in Erbil, Iraq, has been hit with multiple missiles, which has been attributed to Iran in early yet unconfirmed reports. The consulate located in Kurdistan was hit. No casualties have been reported, a U.S. official told Reuters. Faith 110 missiles en route from Tabriz, Iran, toward the U.S. consulate. They said multiple missiles have fallen in the area. It was unclear whether the target was the consulate or the airport in the city. 5 explosions were heard in the attack. The Kurdistan News Channel was also one of the targets. So, yeah, this is kind of what's going on. And again, I apologize for coming on early. Apparently, some of you guys are catching the fact that I did here, because I see all of a sudden we got 320 people popped on. Lucky Dame, yes, I did go on early, an hour early here, because of what's going on with Iran and bombing the U.S. consulate in Iraq. We don't know what the purpose is, but you don't set off 5 missiles. 1 could be a rogue, somebody rogue. 5 is not. 5 is something planned. Okay, Little House in the Prairie says Fox spent 15 seconds on it. Yeah, interesting that they did. I checked everyone's website, like I said, CNN, CNN, NBC, CBS, Fox, Breitbart. I checked all of them. Not a single mention on them. Everybody is talking about what's going on in Ukraine. Okay, watch what this hand's doing, ignore what this one is. Okay. All right, Lily B saying 6 missiles in retaliation for an Israeli action of some kind. I don't know the reason as of yet. I can't verify that whatsoever. You think they'd hit an Israeli embassy at that point, not a U.S. embassy. But yeah, it is what it is. Sorry, guys, I was not planning on going on early. Otherwise, I would have said this was at 9 o'clock, not 8 o'clock, but because a bunch of people are going to come in an hour, we're going to wind up doing 2 hours tonight. So I'll probably have no voice left by the time all is said and done. As Mary says, no Iranian deal. Yeah, that could put a real big curve in this one, because figure how foobar that one was in the first place. We're supposed to get begging Iran for oil, using Russia as the intermediary, because we don't want to get Russian oil, and now Iran attacks the U.S. embassy. Like, Joe could really handle another crisis on his watch. I'm going to say this flat out. All this is because of the current administration we have. All right. As much as everybody kind of jokes around with the Trump miss me yet crap, okay, the one thing that's, at least for the last 60, 70 years, that has held the world together, and not to pat ourselves on the back, but because we had a strong United States in this world. You know, most countries knew not to fuck around, because if the US got involved, it was going to be total devastation for that country. Now, not that our track record has been all that wonderful in the last 50 years, but all things said, do you honestly think Russia would have invaded Ukraine if we didn't have a coward in the White House? You know, you look at what's going on with Iran and Iraq. You look at what's going on with India and Pakistan. You look at what's going on with India and China. You look at what's going on with China and Taiwan. Guys, all these little battles feasibly turn into a war. So, I mean, there's no other way to put it here. All right. And I'm sorry, at the moment, I'm not paying attention to comments that much unless something pops up where I'm seeing it on my phone real quick. I'll give you another part that kind of might interest you here. I haven't looked at prices lately. New study came out. Apparently, U.S. consumers are panic hoarding ammunition. Okay? A lot of people in the U.S., including me, think this is going to go south real quick. Top 10 states buying ammo: Texas, Florida, Washington, Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Illinois, North Carolina, and Ohio. This is the silly one. In 8 of those 10 states, do you know what the number one ammo being purchased is? 9mm. Now, don't get me wrong, I own a 9mm, okay? My favorite pistol of all. But it ain't what I'm taking to battle with me. Now, the second most common in most of them is 5.56, and the third most common is 2.23 or 7.62. That makes sense. Why the hell people are buying 9mm, I don't know. 9mm is great, you know, for close range, but I don't want anybody close enough that I'm going to start firing with pistols. And don't anybody give me this Mel Gibson crap about putting a smiley face on from 200 yards out. Okay, I'm sorry, you know, not happening. You know, guys, this can get ugly fast, because if you think of a map, how things go, you've got Russia coming in from the north into Ukraine. You've got Iran down here. Okay, if they start going in, you could feasibly have two sides going. Remember who Iran is allied with. All right, Iran is an ally of Putin and Russia. You know, we haven't heard anything yet out of Syria. China is still playing their little side game and all. Not saying a whole lot, but yeah, this was not exactly what I expected to see going into tonight. And I'm watching as best I can to see if anything else comes out here real quick. If you want to read a quick story on it, go to Zero Hedge. It's the lead story. Let's see. Videos have emerged purporting to show rockets raining down on the city of Erbil, which hosted a major U.S. military base in Iraq. I'm just reading over this here real quick. These are at least 6 missiles. No one claimed responsibility. Everybody's pointing a finger at Iran. The Al Harir Air Base, along with the U.S. consulate. There we have a military base and air base there. Yes. Okay. So, yeah, there's the big key. And like I said, sorry for coming on early, but y'all need to pay attention. Little House in the Prairie Homestead, thank you for the super chat. I saw it pass by a couple of minutes ago, and I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Okay. Here we go. Robert. Okay. Yeah. Robert said he posted a link here. I'm looking at it now. Rocket attacks reportedly strike Kurdish TV station. U.S. consulate shows huge explosions. Sky News Arabia is where I got it from. Okay, so now, guys, just so you know, this all happened about, from what I understand, about 2 hours ago. And so this is all we have at this point. But it is something certainly to pay attention to, because the one thing I want to remind everybody here with all of this is, just because, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, I'm not trying to fear porn you, but I just want to remind everybody, just because all this stuff is going on in Ukraine doesn't mean that you have all these religious fanatics and Islamic terrorists sitting back in the Middle East going, oh, gee, you know what? We're just going to watch the news instead. Okay. There's still plenty of potential for anything going on there. You know, all that talk a couple of weeks ago about that Jason over at Angry Prepper was talking about with the dirty bomb potential in New York City and the Hasidic Jews all getting camps ready up in northern New York, everything. Dirty bombs aren't something that governments use, not big ones, okay? They use nuclear warheads. Dirty bombs are things that terrorists use. And if you don't think that there's potential for groups out there to kind of try to hide under the cover of all this, well, everybody's watching this, we can go do this, you're sadly mistaken, okay? Like I said, I'm not trying to scare anybody. That's not anything that, I just want you to be aware. I want you to think about that and just pay attention to it. I tried to take a couple hours off today, watch a comedy movie, just try to chill out and get my head off of all of this, because obviously I can't do anything outside. And of course, as I'm finishing the second movie, Mrs. P tells me about all this, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So, all right. And I missed that one there. Survival Buzz, thank you for the super chat. I do greatly appreciate it. All right. Okay, we got nearly 1,000 of you guys in here, so I'm figuring a lot of you have figured out where we are. Pardon me, I'm thirsty, and I'm going to be out of a voice by 10 o'clock. All right, so let's get into talking about what you guys want to talk about. That kind of went into everything. Yeah, as War says right there, what next? North Korea. Just watch, okay? Guys, just head on a swivel, okay? Paying attention to everything. You know, there's reasons that ammo sales are up. You know, a lot of you guys are going to say the same thing I am, okay? Your sixth sense starts taking over after a while. And you go, something ain't right. A lot of people started prepping because of that, you know, in the last couple of years. Something ain't right. You know, listen to that little voice inside your head. It's right more often than it's wrong, okay? You know, and you could say it's paranoia or whatever. It's your subconscious. It's something that you see, but you don't register in the frontal lobe. And listen to that little voice. And when that little voice tells you to do something, do something. I remember a story when I was a kid. This is probably the most powerful that little voice has ever been. But when I ride my bike home from school, from middle school, it was about 2 miles away. I always took the same way, took a back road through a subdivision instead of staying on the main road. And one day that voice was so strong inside me, says, do not take the back road. You're going to get hit by a car. And that voice was so strong inside me, I actually changed direction and did not take that back road. Obviously, I'll never know what happened, but that voice was that strong in my head telling me not to go that way. And I can still picture exactly where I was, and that was 45 years ago. So I could still find that back road on if I went up to Oakland County, Michigan right now, no problem. I'd know exactly where it was. Okay. All right, guys, let's kind of get into it. Wow, okay, at least, all right. Lucky Dame's here, Lorna's here, Robert's here. Wow, guys, thank you for finding me here. I didn't expect Jacob or North Shore to show. I was surprised anybody was here an hour early, so I figured I was just going off on my own. But, thank you guys very much for jumping in and putting in an extra hour's worth of work here today. I know, Lorna, you've had a hell of a day with Constantine's latest live stream and all the crap that goes on there. Fortunately, you can take somewhat of a chill pill on this one because we can talk politics and we can use the word war, and I'm not at risk of going to jail for 15 years. So, okay, so we'll get into total Q&A, and doing this for an hour and 45 minutes, I'm going to have a lot more chance to answer a lot more questions. Yup, that's me. What did you miss? It looks like the Iranians hit the U.S. consulate in Iraq with rockets, missiles. So that was the reason we came on early. It's not being reported on the U.S. news yet, but it's pretty much all over the rest of the world because, of course, the U.S. news won't tell us squat. Okay, so we'll go into Q&A. As per normal, guys, I'll just say it real quick. Put it in all caps for me. Keep it PG-13. No personal attacks on each other. No personal attacks on me. I don't care if you disagree. You're perfectly welcome to disagree. Just keep it civil, okay? And then, of course, let's stay away from the YouTube topics, the taboo ones. Like anybody really wants to talk about the 2020 election, the ingredients to the vaccine or climate change. Those, I think, are probably not really important issues. They never were, because it's all bullshit anyway. But yeah, so until YouTube comes out and says we can't talk about anything else that's going on in the world, those are the only topics we don't have to worry about. Other than that, free game. Let's get into it here. This is just, I'm sorry if I'm a little frazzled. This one's a little, you start getting multiple fronts, okay? Because I'm still certain it's not going to take long till China pops off. And now all of a sudden we've got North Korea being on their side. That means, as I put it, the whole axis of evil between Putin, Xi, Kim Jong-un, and the Ayatollahs in Iran are all going to try to raise hell with the rest of the world. So, all right, let me get up here and see what's going on. James Redden, do you figure this is the point where weak leadership brings about the fall of USA dominance? Absolutely, 100%. Not half of the crap that's going on in the world right now would not be going on if we had a strong president, okay? Everybody in the world knows Biden is got a yellow stripe on his back, the width of a Volkswagen. I mean, the guy is a pure coward. I mean, he was always known as a buffoon in Washington before he got elected. Now he just has the chance to prove it to the world, okay? When you're a senator from Delaware, nobody really gives a shit. When you were vice president, nobody really cared, okay? You're there as the only reason he was there was to make Obama look good, okay? Now all of a sudden he gets put into the White House, and now he gets to prove that he's the idiot that everybody's accused him of being for 50 years. We do not have strong leadership in this country from either party at this point, okay? There are a few. I mean, Ted Cruz, Jim Jordan, a couple of the governors, but there ain't a whole lot, okay? Don't give me Lindsey Graham. Don't give me Marco Rubio. Don't give me Mitt Romney, any of these. There are a few people in government who would make the right decisions here, okay? And obviously the party in power has nobody competent enough to make the right decisions, because you look at this whole Russian oil embargo thing that we're doing, that we're not buying anything there. Russia's still going to sell to India. They're still going to sell to China. They're still going to sell to half of South America. Okay. Do you think Russia really cares about selling to the United States and to Germany? Sure, a little bit. It's going to hit them a little bit. You don't think those other countries are going to go, hey, sure, we'll pick up the slack. We can take some more. Sorry, would you believe somebody tried to call me in the middle of the live stream there? Okay, so yeah, the one who it's going to hurt is us. All right, all of a sudden that $4.30 average gallon of gas that we've got, yeah, that we're the ones getting hurt. Okay, Joe saying it's Putin's inflation. No, Joe, this is 100% square on your shoulders. Admit it. You are in way over your head and have done everything you can to screw the United States. You know, we all just hope we can make it 3 more years until you're gone. So, but yes, weak leadership is definitely the reason for all the chaos that's going on. Guy says we are definitely in World War III. Yeah, we're certainly at the beginning. I don't see any other way you can put it. It starts with little battles. You know, look at World War II. You know, World War II didn't start with Germany going into Poland, though history books will say that. But by the time it wound up World War, all the little skirmishes had already been fought, and it was like, okay, now it's a big war. So, Foggy Mountain says, thank you for coming on early. I had to, guys, before, as soon as I saw this and noticed nobody else was talking about it, I mean, other than 1 or 2 people had made in the comments real quick. I think there were like 12 people here when I went on real fast. So obviously you guys found me on earlier. But you know, I try to keep you guys as abreast as I can to some of the things that are very important to you and to me, and seeing that said to Mrs. P.S., I don't have a choice. I got to get on early. This news has got to get out to people. Voodoo Queen, hello all. What the heck is wrong with this world? Politicians. Okay, you know, as I said when I was popping into Constantine's live stream, you know, politics is the only profession out there where you have to fail an interview and prove how stupid you are to be qualified. Ricky Beerlar, whatever happened to the one India shot into Pakistan? Well, that was one of the other things I talked about, but kind of interesting is apparently India test fired a supersonic missile over Pakistan. You know, we don't remember what I said, guys. All it takes is one person to go, you know what, fuck this, and hit the red button, and the whole world is in chaos. Okay, and you've got India and Pakistan, which are both nuclear nations, fighting each other. India and China. You know, we got Russia and Ukraine. You know, Russia basically in almost NATO. You know, who knows what Iran's got? You know, but then you talk about, as we've talked about many times, it doesn't just take nuclear. Biological and chemical are available too. And anybody that doesn't think that Russia's got biological or chemical agents, Iran's got biological or chemical agents, you are smoking some of the good stuff if you don't believe that. Yeah, Lily, beware potatoes, Iranian buddies right now. Oh, they're sitting back laughing, going, ha ha, they want oil from us. Here, they can have this. Leia, hi, coming in late. Where are you finding this intel? I found it on Sky News Arabia. It is also posted. You can now find news on it on RT. And Robert had put up a link earlier to the news, but yeah, the U.S. news is not reporting it, but you look in the European news or the Arabic World News, and you're going to find this. Robert, if you could post that link up again, that would be great. I don't have it handy here real quick. I don't think I can find it. There we go. Nope, I did find it. Okay. Here, I'll put it up too. And paste. Okay, there you go. I just posted the link up there too, so you can check it out there. That's just one of them. Like I said, Sky News Arabia, the Jerusalem Post, RT has it. You can go read it on Zero Hedge. It's being put out. The American media is too busy, sipping cosmopolitans right now to worry about any real news. Okay. Rip curl readiness, we don't have that now for sure. I'm thinking about, you're talking about a strong government. Yeah, that would be true. Let's see. Trying to get up here. Where we go. Little House in the Prairie Homestead says can't even hardly get ammo in Southwest Washington. Yeah, pretty much you're limited to buying it online in a lot of places. I know it's even harder around here. The two places I've had good success with, guys, are Midway USA and Freedom Munitions online. It'll take about, unless you're paying for expedited shipping, it'll take about a week to get to you. But I found them to have the best stock and the best prices for what I was looking for. Marilyn Parmalee, is it just my computer or is this not loading for everyone? Mine's just buffering. Should be fine. I haven't heard it from anybody else, and I can see my screen below here working fine. Lily B, in retaliation for 2 Iranian generals killed in Syria by Israel, they want us in World War III. I'll buy that. The only question that I have then is, why not attack an Israeli embassy somewhere? Why are you attacking a U.S. embassy? That is a prelude to war, okay? I will agree with the second part. They want us in World War III, sure. I mean, most of these fanatics in the Middle East, this is how they live. They want to see, blood and guts everywhere. This is, they want war. So most of us don't. We kind of like the peacefulness, but we're not getting that lucky. All right. Yeah, okay, Little House of Prayer. You've been trying to buy 300, 30 and 30-06 for months. Yeah, those calibers, 300 blackout or anything like that, those are next to impossible to find. I mean, they're pumping out the 5.56, the 9mm, the 223, the common calibers, but even the 308s you can get, but 30-30, I haven't seen 30-30 or 30-06 in the stores in forever, at least a year. 9mm, Rip Curl says 9mm is the most common military handgun round. Handguns are meant for close-in defense. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's why I don't understand why everybody's buying 9mm. I don't want somebody, as you put it, within 7 to 30 yards of me. I want to take them when they're 200 yards. I don't want them close enough to me. If they're within 30 yards of me, I screwed up, okay? Nope, we're going to shoot to the bottom here. Let me get back up here. Aaron Goodman, it's not competence, it's called evil. They choose to burn America alive. Yeah, I agree. I mean, we all know that politicians have some sinister plan, cooking up, and they all have the golden ticket down to the bunker. Great. If nuclear war happens, guys, and the entire Earth is under a nuclear winter and everything is radioactive, do you want to live in an underground bunker for the rest of your life? I don't. All right. I want to see leaves and grass and birds and, the sun, blue sky, things like that. I don't want to see concrete walls all around me. If that's the ambition of some of these people, let's entomb them. Okay. They can stay in their concrete all they want. Leave the planet alone for the rest of us. We can easily do without those people. Super quick fix one. Iran has launched ballistic missiles against the U.S. Yeah, that's why I came on an hour early. We talked about that. Unless anybody's got new news on it, that's as far as I've got. Kim, how is this going to end? I have no idea. I wish I had a crystal ball and can give you an answer to it. My guess is you're going to see some sort of ground war in Europe again, and whether or not it spreads out to Asia and everything, that's another question. But yeah, it ain't gonna end pretty. Let's put it this way. Brandy, thank you for the super chat. I do greatly appreciate the donation. Joshua Melby, term limits. While I wish they were in the Constitution, okay, and all the lip service that people give every time they're running and then they bail on it, we have term limits that we control. It's called the ballot box. We just choose not to. You know, why the hell Nancy Pelosi's been in the House for 40 some odd years, or Chuck Schumer's been, why any of these guys have been there, why Biden was a senator for nearly 50 years, whatever it would be. We have term limits. It's called the ballot box, and enough people say we need to get rid of this person and bring in new blood. We can do that. We just don't want to. And the problem that you get is you have the good old boys club, and now the good old girls club too, the House re-election campaign where the House will collect money to re-elect people rather than elect good people. It's like, oh gee, you know what, so now not only are New York tax dollars spent to re-elect AOC, but so are federal tax dollars, because those go into the donations and stuff that the House gets. And if they saw, oh, she's in a tight race, they'll pump federal dollars into AOC's race. So once they get in, they're hard to get out. That's the problem. And the only way to do it is to vote them out. I wish we had term limits, don't get me wrong. It's just every time a politician says he's going to, he stands for term limits, and then as soon as he gets elected, you never hear another word out of him again. I mean, we had one, what was it? Oh, I mean, look at Pelosi. She said last time she wasn't going to run for speaker again. Then she runs for speaker again. We had, I forget who the congressman was who said he was going to run for 2 terms, and that was it. His second term's up. I'm going to run for a third one. Okay. They're politicians. If their mouth is moving, they're lying. Wanda Anthony, I'm late because I thought I started 8 o'clock Central on Saturdays. I do. Okay. I came on an hour early today because we had important news that was coming out of Iraq, with Iran shelling the U.S. Embassy and potentially a U.S. airbase there. And so because the U.S. News was not reporting this, I wanted to discuss this with you guys so you knew what was going on before all the bullshit starts spinning around, or from what I've seen so far, the media just ignores it. Biden's probably in Delaware anyway, asleep right now, so he won't know till the morning. Rhonda, do I believe that any one country will put boots on USA ground? Not initially. I think the boots on the ground will be a cleanup crew, and that would be after there is some sort of grid attack or EMP attack, or after they've given us enough chance to die off. You hear me mention the book 1 Second After many times. That's probably the most feasible way that anybody would ever attack the United States. Okay. They're not coming up through Mexico. They're not coming in through Canada. I mean, they could do small groups. They could infiltrate that way, but you're not going to roll an army through Canada without somebody noticing it. Okay. I mean, for how many months did we hear, oh, Russia's building up troops on the Ukrainian border? Okay. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. How much would you believe that it said, oh, China's building up troops on the Canadian border? Okay. That China can't say, oh, it's our sovereign territory. The one advantage that the United States has over a lot of countries is we're surrounded on 2 sides by ocean and the other 2 sides by one country. Okay. There's not a whole lot of ways in. So, as I've said many times, you're not going to get boots on the ground here because you have no way to resupply them. Now, once you devastate the American population, then you'd have boots on the ground. Lucky Dame is correct, folks. You aren't late. I started early tonight because of the news. Correct. I do apologize for everybody that didn't realize I'm on an hour early, okay? And it was a complete surprise. I didn't know I was going to do it until 5 minutes before I did it. Kelly Tillotson, how is this going to get better? I just don't get it. Welcome to what we question all the time. All these people who think the world's going back to normal, are you knuckin' futs? Okay, that's the only way I can put it, because everything has gone to complete chaos, economically, socially, militarily. I mean, you name one thing that is going right in the world right now: food, oil, diplomatic relations. Gee, maybe the transgender rights are, for that many people, getting better. For this many people, the world's getting more FUBAR. Sunshine, missed it. What's going on? I came on early because Iran the embassy in Iraq has been shelled, and it apparently is Iran that is doing it, okay? And unless something has changed in the last half an hour and they've said it, that's officially, I don't know, but as of 8 o'clock Eastern when I came on, it was still speculating that it was Iran, but the shelling of the embassy was in fact. LCM, thank you for the super chat. If there is a nuclear war, what cities would you think would be attacked first? Well, there's actually, you can go online and search this up. I did a video on it about a year ago, which were the top 10 targets. Okay. New York and Washington are toast. LA is toast. Then you get like NORAD is in there. There is a couple of the naval bases on the East Coast are there. But the first ones that go off take out LA and New York. I mean, that's it. Okay, you destroy the government, you destroy the financial sector right there. Poof. Okay, those are the first two that are number one and number two targets. Video cassette gallery. What are you going to be doing? What are you doing for your vape preps? I've probably got 2 to 3 years worth of supplies put away. I'm okay. Okay, nicotine you can freeze, and I bought that all before the ban on mailing nicotine went into effect last year. Cheryl Zeman, thank you very much. You're one source we know we can depend on. I try, guys. Okay, I don't get it right all the time. You know that. Okay, most of the time I'm pretty accurate. But hell, I was one of the ones forever said that Russia wasn't going into Ukraine. So I do make mistakes as well, And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay, and I'll admit I'm wrong. I'm trying to read a crystal ball here on some of these things to prepare us for, so we can prepare. And looking in the rearview mirror is always easy. Looking out the windshield is always a little bit more difficult, because it's easy to tell where you've been, but where you're going is a little more up in the air. Elizabeth McKenna, can I go over again what gun is best for when shit hits the fan? Okay. There isn't a one gun that is going to be best. There's a couple of variables. First off, the best weapon that anybody can ever own is the one you are most comfortable with. If you aren't comfortable shooting a rifle, then you have no business owning a rifle. If you aren't comfortable shooting an automatic pistol, then you should be buying a revolver, whatever it would be. Okay, if you aren't comfortable owning a shotgun, don't. Okay, so the first thing is you've got to be comfortable with the weapon. Then the next thing is you've got to know what the range of that weapon is. All right. Now, you got to know what capacity is. I mean, your typical AK or AR is going to have a 30-round magazine. Your 308 hunting rifle, maybe it's got 5 rounds. I mean, some of them you can get 10, 15-round mags for, whatever it would be. I mean, you can get 100-round magazines for an AR and AK and stuff like that. So there's all sorts, but you have to figure out what's going to work best for you. Okay. Remember, you put a 100-round magazine on it, that weapon just got very heavy very fast. But, what is your objective? What are you trying to cover? Are you trying to cover the hallway in a apartment complex? Okay, maybe a pistol or a shotgun's fine. Are you trying to cover an open field? Now you need a rifle. So I did a whole video on it about a year ago, maybe even longer than that, on going over each weapon and what it's good for. But you got to think of the situation. If you're trying to cover a whole field, you don't want a shotgun. Okay, if you're trying to just protect down a hallway, okay, you don't need a 308. You got to learn the weapon that you have and what its capabilities are, and then match that to what your needs are. Okay, that's why they're just like everything else in prepping. There is no one size fits all. Seamus 59, our Achilles heel is being shown to the world. This woke administration is destroying our country. Yes, there's no question about that. Wokeism is destroying the country and destroying the world. And unfortunately, there's too many Gen Zers and millennials that are too happy drinking their soy lattes and wearing their skinny jeans to have a clue as what's going on. I mean, again, you got to remember, we've got a sitting congresswoman who thinks that meat comes from grocery stores. Okay, this is the stupidity that we have with these people. I told you the other day, 52% of Democrats said if the U.S. was attacked, they'd run away. Okay, do me a favor, please run away now, because I don't want to risk my life defending your coward ass. All right, that's it. You don't like it here, leave. Nobody ever asked you to stay. Share. Get the hell out of my country. Madonna, you want to blow up the White House? Go move to North Korea. You can discuss it with Kim Jong-un. Lucky Dame says MSN put something up. Yes, okay. So finally here, they're going to quote the Jerusalem Post. Nice reporting there. Copy and paste. Deborah Haynes, they said they were doing maintenance and somebody pushed a button that didn't have a warhead on it. They pushed the button 6 times, right? Okay, I don't believe that. God. Robert says it's been posted a few times in the chat. Okay, so there we go. Newsmax is reporting it. Good. Video cassette gallery vape plan. I just talked about that. Jennifer Jones, Obama gave Crimea blankets. Yeah, no kidding. And posted MREs, thanks. Okay. Commander Corvus Corax Nevermore. I'm going to call you Commander CCN. It's going to be easier. Some group geolocated the launch is definitely from Iran. Okay, good. That's good to know. Now I want to see what our retaliation on Iran is. Okay, what's Biden going to do? We're going to cut off the oil from Iran. Get ready for gas prices to go up even more. Okay, not because we're already getting it, but because that cuts off another potential supply. And Venezuela is sitting back going, man, think of all this money we're going to have coming in quick. God. Wolfsbane Hollow had trouble getting into the stream as well. It took 3 tries. I don't know. That could be because I went on early. I don't know. So, but we are here. I thought I've caught every one of them so far, honey. Okay. Mrs. P is trying to keep me honest there in the mention something here. I think I've caught everything. Romy Davis says, stay away from cheaper than dirt. Yeah, cheaper than dirt is more expensive than gold is a better way to put it. They rip off artists in the way of selling ammo. Darlene Carter, do I think our grid will go down anytime soon? If it happens, okay. That's basically a declaration of war. Because, you got to remember we have multiple power grids in the United States. There's three of them. And so if it all went out at once, everywhere, that is state sponsored. You're not going to get some little hacker group that is going to be able to take out a grid. Maybe for a short period of time or something like that, but they're not going to be able to do long-term devastation. Now, the US government has already said Russia, China, Iran, North Korea all have the technical ability to take out our grid. They know, of course, as soon as they do it, we're going to do the same thing back. Okay, so that means the whole world is in darkness. Now, it would also be a declaration of war. And you know damn well that if you have generators and everything like that, the militaries do too. Okay, so as soon as something like that happens, then we instantly wind up with martial law. There's no question, and we instantly wind up in World War III. Does it happen? We got to watch Europe, but I'd say 51-49 yes right now. Rochelle Renan, who in the Middle East wants war? Who in the Middle East doesn't? Okay. I mean, Iran, certainly, they're screaming death to America all the time. The Saudis, as much as you could say they're our allies, they don't act like it a whole lot often. What are you going to talk about? Syria? I don't know, maybe Yemen, Somalia. Let's talk about any of these countries. Afghanistan, let's talk. These countries live by war. This is all they've known for 1,000 years. And, the bigger, the better. Deacon Prepper, this is all by design, folks. It's going to get much worse. Yep. And all I can say to anybody who doesn't see it is, aren't you glad you are prepped? No matter what stage you are, if you started yesterday or if you started 40 years ago, okay? Aren't you glad you have something? Because when this balloon goes up, which sure as hell seems like it's going to be soon, okay, and we're going to be dragged into the middle of something that we can't even imagine right now, we are going to have it ever so slightly more comfortable than the neighbor out there who's going, what do I eat? What do I do? The lights won't go on. Where's my Netflix? Why doesn't my phone work? Okay. And we're going to be going, all right, chill out. You got this under control. You prep for this. You plan for this. You train for this. You're ready. Okay. Now it's time to put a plan in action. All of us wish that the day they put us in a pine box that our heirs come and throw out all the food that's in there. Hopefully they don't throw out the weapons and the ammo because that's still good, but hopefully the food gets used or does something with it. But, we all hope we never have to use it, but we're all happy we have it there just in case we do have to. Okay, shot down to the bottom again, back up to the top. Sue Staley, the missiles may be Iran's answer to Joe begging for more oil. Yeah, if there's 6 of them, 5 fingers and one like this. Mona She prepping, do not tell people what you have, not safe. True. Easier to do than not. It's hard to start a mag unless you tell people, hey, I'm doing this or whatever it is. Okay. Yeah, A cross. I think Biden got his answer from Iran. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Bader's bunker, fuel prices are going up, most certainly. I've told you guys before, anywhere and everywhere that we can get petroleum from is either we're telling them no or they're telling us no. I think we got our answer from Iran. Mexico's already said, don't look at us, okay? We said, forget Russia. Joe said, screw Canada, so what's left? They're doing whatever they can to push us off of gasoline, which all it's going to do is destroy the economy, guys. End of story. That's it. People will buy the gasoline for as long as they can in lieu of buying something else. Okay. You talk about, oh, Netflix. I don't know what the hell's Netflix cost. $10, $15 a month. Hey, there's a couple of gallons of gas, honey. We're canceling Netflix, whatever it would be. Forest Preparedness, thank you for the super chat. We have full face 3M mask with asbestos filters. Do you think that would work for nuclear fallout? Nuclear fallout's a little different than most, okay? Because you're gonna. Yes, that's going to be good for most, but you also have the radiation, okay? And you're not getting the radiation that way, okay? You need to have your body fully covered to keep the radiation from going in through your skin, through your eyes, through whatever. So yes, the uh, asbestos masks will work well uh, for them, but again, it depends on what they're rated for. I don't know the specific asbestos filters you have. Are they good for biological or are they good for chemical? You got to look up and see what they're all good for, because if they're just painter's masks, no, they're not good for squat. So make sure that you check what the filters are for. Robert Bates, beard's still there, so not concerned about an aerosol weaponized attack yet. Yeah, that's it. This is your telltale sign, guys. When the beard's gone, it's time to panic. NS Norfolk, no apologies necessary. We appreciate you. How's the garden doing? I have 150 onions and 20 garlic and due east of you. My garlic's been in since November. It was looking great before we got 5 or 6 inches of snow, and then a good portion of it melted today, but now it's supposed to be very cold tomorrow. I have no idea what my peas look like. Those are the only other things in the ground. I've got 350 onions sitting here on the kitchen table in front of me that are waiting to go in the ground, but obviously that's not happening till this snow is gone. So Aaron Goodman. Yeah, and it'll get really hot after a 100-round string. Yes, you're true. That's also correct. Yes. Monashi prepping was from the weapons Biden left behind. That was in Afghanistan, so that has. Unless the Afghanis sold it to the Iranians, I don't know. We don't know what's come out yet, but I'm assuming these were a little bit bigger than handheld missiles or anything like that. Now, if we had, because I can't tell you all the munitions that were left in Afghanistan. If we had vehicle mounted rocket launchers and stuff like that, who knows? So I think we're way too early to know what type of missile it was, or certainly the public is. The military might know, but we don't. Alvin Smith, with DuckDuckGo doing censoring, is there any search engine that don't censor? Somebody had mentioned today, and I looked at it briefly. It's called brave.com, Brave. It looks like it is a search engine and I don't know if it's a homepage or whatever it would be, a browser. That's what I'm looking for as well, but it looks like it's a browser as well. So, but you can take that. Like I said, I don't know about it. Somebody else mentioned it. I looked at it for 30 seconds today just to see if it was legit. South Colorado Stetter, what do you recommend for cooking in a safe room once the solar banks go out and grid is down? Wow. Now you're gonna, if you're in a safe room and you have no electricity, at this point, basically your only option is like little propane tanks or whatever it is, or sterno. You're down to cold food at that point. So, if you're in your safe room, it's not like you're going to have an oven or something like that. You're going to have cans, and just be happy if you got a can opener and a spoon. So, yeah, I think if you're to the point of in your safe room and you can't get to outside, be happy with whatever you can eat. Who cares about the temperature? Cindy Rice, in honor of prepping preacher pinball, call him Skippy. Okay, there you go. Grace Acres, I've heard garlic is a fall crop. Can I plant it this spring and still get a harvest this summer? Garlic is best planted in the fall. Usually I plant around Thanksgiving. You can plant now, and you will get a harvest in the fall. You probably won't get as big of bulbs or anything because it's more of a cold weather crop, because garlic is best planted in the fall and grow in the spring, and usually I'm harvesting around the end of June. So yes, they're non-alcoholic beers. That's why I can drink that much that quick, because I'm thirsty. All right. Riverside Acres, how far do you have to be away from a nuclear blast to be safe? The further, the better. And again, you're talking about the size of the blast, but you're talking 25 to 30 miles away, before, and preferably upwind, because if you're downwind for it, be even further away. So, that's, guys, remember like how Chernobyl worked? Okay. Chernobyl is north of Kiev in Ukraine. And the Soviet Union did not announce that they had a nuclear meltdown. It was fine. The world finally figured it out when they were detecting radiation in Scandinavia. Okay. So you were going 1,000 miles or so away when they finally detected radiation in the air 3 days later. So how far away? Mars, there is no true definition for how far away. Carolyn L says, don't expect much of a payback. Okay, yeah, pretty much. We'll put sanctions on you. Rand's going, big freaking deal. Ron Warwick, this should be called the Pinball No Bullshit Spin Show. There you go. I try. Amy Arsenault, my local Shaw's has corned beef on sale for 97 cents a pound. Yeah. I scored 4 pounds of carrots, 10 pounds of potatoes, 4 pounds of onions, 2 huge cabbages, canning all of it. Yeah, guys, we're coming into St. Patrick's Day. If you like to make sauerkraut, you're going to find cabbage on sale. You're going to find corned beef briskets on sale. If you get a good price on them, throw them in the freezer or can it up or do whatever. You can can all that stuff. Take advantage of the holiday sales. When Easter comes, you're going to get advantage of hams, hopefully. Take advantage of those sales. But Amy, yeah, good call on that one. Okay, talking about the same thing. Sunshine, Alaska has enough fuel for the entire U.S., but Biden shut down our oil fields on federal land. Yeah. When Anwar is open, guys, okay, that's oil fields up in Alaska that Trump got open. The United States has enough oil underground that we know where it is to last the entire world 200 years. Think about that. Not a drop of Russian oil, not a drop of Venezuelan oil, not a drop of Middle Eastern oil. 200 years worth of fueling the entire world with the oil we already know where it is what the United States has. Okay. Yet we're importing oil. Figure that one out. Yeah, Mary Bishop. It'll just be a don't do that again and a little slap on the wrist. I mean, what else can you do? We're going to cut you off economically. We don't care. Okay? What are we going to do? We're going to picket with signs that say "Go home, Mohammed" and try to piss them off religiously. I mean, the only other thing that you can do literally is war. And like most Americans, I'm sick of us being at war and hearing the stories of 4 more Americans were killed yesterday. What are we fighting for? Nothing really. Okay. We're defending somebody else, so they can sleep with their own goat. Screw them. Let them handle it on their own. I'm done with this. Rachel Renan, what will Biden do? Get on his knees, of course, and threaten Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Israel. Yeah. With what? Gee, we're going to stop buying your oil too? Thanks, Joe. Those threats go real. Those do real good for my wallet, Healthy disrespect for authority. Do you think we have anyone in D.C. that could command the military? No. I can't think of anybody that I would be comfortable running the military. In period. I think we have a bunch of bureaucrats with stars on their shoulders. And what we need is a couple of good sergeant majors to run the military. Screw the damn generals. We need the guys who work their way up through the ranks, boots on the ground type, who know a little bit more about being a soldier than pushing a pencil and sitting behind a damn desk. Okay. The hell with generals. Let's get some sergeants major out in front of the troops and see what happens and bust some balls that way. Love to decorate. What happened today? Iran has started a missile strike on the U.S. Embassy in Iraq this evening. MG, do I have to pay for a super chat for a question? No, you just have to put it in all caps, and I go through them as fast as I can. So that's it. No, there's no pay to play here. I appreciate the contributions, but no, it's not a requirement. Mark Anthony, Ben Shapiro just reported the bombing of the consulate. Good. Glad they're finally catching up. South Colorado Stetter, do you think Russia might have talked Iran into this? Oh, there might be a little possibility of something like that. Let's show them that we've got something else, that we're not a one-trick pony here. Okay. Latina Prepper, there will be allies that stab us in the back. Oh, I don't know. Gee, could I think of one off the top of my head? Turkey? Yeah, maybe there'd be a good one. NATO? Yes. Do you hear your dog, honey? Okay. Debbie's, crap. Sorry, Debbie, I was about to read your question. I don't know if I'm going to get it again. Cindy Rice, did Biden already sign the nuclear deal with Iran? Not as far as I know. Gina M, does Brave have an app? Again, I don't know. Like I said, I looked at it for 30 seconds. Guys, just so you know, when this thing shoots all the way to the bottom, it doesn't let me go all the way back to the top of the chat. It chops some of it off. So like Debbie right there, you posted a question and I started to read it and it disappeared. And obviously it didn't go far enough up for me to go back to it. So I apologize. Please put it in again. Okay, let's see. Quentin Schacht, how do I feel about wood gasification? Going to build one to run our generator. I've seen the YouTube videos on it. It's a little bit beyond my mechanical aptitude. I know they work. I've seen it. But it's better than nothing. If you can get it to work, great. It's not something I would plan on using for your everyday commute back and forth to work. But if you've got something like that and the world went to shit, then you can use it. Yeah, it's a good backup, which preppers are famous for. Vester Dillon, wow, I'm late. Hope everyone is having an awesome day. No, you're not, Vester. I started an hour early tonight because we had news coming out of Iraq that I needed everybody to know. So I'm still going to be going till 10 o'clock. So no, you're not late. I was just extraordinarily early. American military news saying possible Fate, I don't know how to pronounce it. 110s, yeah, that's the same thing I've seen there, Autumn. Linda Friesen, make sure you have ventilation. I'm guessing you're talking back in the safe room cooking. Dale Drake, they will have 12-volt pots and pans that will work with most solar generators. Sure, but one of the criteria in that question was when your solar chargers are empty. Okay, so you had no more electricity. So that the pots and pans, if no, it doesn't matter if they work with solar energy if you don't have any. Chelsea Breda, what places in Ohio or target areas? I don't know, guys. I don't remember. I did this video over a year ago, and targets inevitably change. I just know that New York and DC and LA were on top. NORAD was in there. Like I said, a couple of the submarine bases. I don't remember all of them. I think Argonne National Labs outside of Chicago was, again, I'd have to go back and look it up again. Deacon Prepper, what do y'all think? The zombies will clear out the stores tomorrow morning? I don't know. Russia, Ukraine is almost getting to be old news. It's like, oh, gee, there's something else going on. The world's kind of looking past it anymore. It's like, no big deal. And like I said, eventually the entertainment value of something like that wanes. I mean, Afghanistan went on for 20 years. Unless you had a kid over there, did you really even pay attention to it after maybe the first couple of months? Not really. That's about it. Ildico, can I do a Discord channel? No, don't have time. This is it, guys. I don't have time for all the other social media deals and stuff like that. Okay. You want to watch it? I'll be here. You want something somewhere else? Go start your own channel. Okay. This is not. I don't live to be on YouTube, or social media. Period. Hogs and guns. Is a chainsaw a good investment for a prepper in a suburban location? Hell yeah. Okay. Because when the balloon goes up, both of them here, first thing you're going to do is probably be cutting down trees to block entrances to your neighborhood or whatever it would be, so you can keep the bad guys out as best you can. All right. You're going to need those chainsaws for any sort of damage is done, to get into buildings, feasibly to get out of buildings. A chainsaw is going to be one of your most important tools to have in an SHTF situation. Hey, North, sorry, we came on an hour early tonight with all the crap that was going on in Iraq. So, yeah, I saw the news, and there were a few people in here, and we just jumped in and got started early. So no big deal. Understand you didn't know. You and Jacob both in the same boat. I didn't, Lorna, Robert, and Lucky Dame happened to be on an hour early, and so they saw it here, but they've kept the ship afloat. So let's see. Aaron Goodman, do you think that with everything going on, we should buy CBRN gas masks for 2 masks and 4 filters at $850 right now? Did a video on this last week. Yes, I do. Okay, and I showed you exactly the ones I got. Raina LaRue, for fruit trees, do you need to have 2, and do they need to be the same type? That all depends on the fruit, okay? Some fruit trees are self-pollinating, some are not. Like I've got a peach tree and a pear tree that are both self-pollinating. The apple trees that I have are not. They need to have another apple tree, and yes, those need to be of 2 different types. Some plum trees, some apricots are self-pollinating, some are not. You have to look at the specifics of what type of tree. You can't just say I have an apple tree. Do you have a Granny Smith apple tree? Do you have a Red Delicious apple tree? Do you have a Pink Lady apple tree? What is it? Okay, you need to know that specific tree. Then is it self-pollinating, or does it need to be cross-pollinated? And then you need to find out if it needs to be cross-pollinated, what trees it will cross-pollinate with, because it just won't necessarily cross-pollinate with any other apple tree. So yeah, you got to do a little bit of research on each particular tree. Aaron Goodman, that's what Biden wants. He sold us out to China. Oh yeah, he sold us out to China. He sold us out to Ukraine. Okay, no big deal. I mean, Hunter did all the legwork and the big guy got 10%. I mean, this is no big surprise, people. We all knew Joe's hands were filthy. South Colorado Stutter, Saudi Arabia did a mass execution today. I don't even want. I really have no interest with what goes on in that part of the world. They could all go kill themselves. Let them continue the war between themselves they've had for 1,000 years, and let the rest of the world be. Okay, I could care less what goes on in the Middle East. Montana Living, what do I think our response will be to Iran? Sorry, was early to be late. Good question. Don't know. I mean, like I said earlier, what are we going to do? Put more sanctions on them? They really don't care. Okay, they move along. There's not a whole lot. What are we going to? We're not going to go start a war, with them, because the one thing that we used to have going for us is, Trump was at least a little bit unpredictable. I mean, Biden's very predictable. He will just go cower in the corner and hide. Okay, there's no big deal. He's like the wimp in the playground. He'll never fight back. Well, the unpredictable ones are the Iranians. So we do something, who knows what they do next? The best thing we could do is just treat them like pariahs. Don't even pretend like they don't even exist. Don't give them the time of day. Okay, ignore them completely and let them fall off the face of the earth. Okay, let's see. Mobile Bay Prepper, we need Marines running this country. I'm not going to disagree there. No, we need somebody with a backbone and a set of balls. That's it. And I'm not saying that physically. I'm saying that mentally. Okay. We need John Wayne. There you go. That would work. David Fox News is reporting on the bombing. Well, it's good to know. Congratulations. They got scooped by YouTube again. 10 seconds this time. Ooh, now we're getting into the big information. P Fletch 83. How was my rimfire ammunition? Mine is, my 22 ammo is beyond belief. Got more 22 than I could shoot up going nonstop for a couple of days. Jennifer Jones, does Tom Hanks live in Turkey? Who knows? Don't care. It's a big deal. Another bleeding heart liberal. Don't care. Randall's Prep. Would I be safe in Wisconsin if nukes drop? Not if one hit Chicago, depending on where you are. You're in Milwaukee? Probably not. You're in upstate Wisconsin? Probably. Guys, there's, like I said before, there's no, if we get into a nuclear war, no place is safe. So, Stephen Dilworth, straw bale gardening. Well, I will get into that in June when I do my sweet potatoes. That's going to be the only thing I'm going to be doing in straw bales this year. And considering right now we got snow on the ground and it's supposed to be 11 degrees tonight, no, not going to be doing anything. But yes, straw bale gardening is great as long as you know how to condition your straw bales first. You can grow tomatoes, peppers, everything like that in them. Works quite well. So, and just as long as you got a compost pile at the end of the year to throw all that straw in and make compost. It's a good supplement to your regular garden. I wouldn't do only straw bale gardening because you're going to be creating a bunch of good compost that you can use for somewhere else and grow in it again. Guy, I'm draft age. Do you think I'm doomed, Pinball? You need to be watching what goes on with Poland. That would be the biggest thing I'd say there. If this just happens with Ukraine, probably not. If Putin goes into Poland, yeah, then I'd be concerned. Sugar in the Attic Homestead, is it hitting the media yet? Might be crazy tomorrow. I guess Foxes start coming out with it here a little bit. Nobody. Has Iran attacked Saudi Arabia? That I have not heard. Got a text from a good source looking for information. Iran goes into Saudi Arabia, then we got some other issues, and Iranians and Saudis are not on friendly terms anyway. General Milley. Yeah, right. Debbie Nugent, who are the gardening videos I follow? I follow Grow Veg. I follow James Prigioni, Hugh Richards, Charles Dowding, Roots and Refuge Farm, Deep South Homestead. God, what's some other ones here? Hang on a second. I gotta go look. Hang on. I told you about the Veggie Boys, but that's more farming. Scott Head is another good one. Hollis and Nancy's Homestead. I like that one. That's it. Okay. So they're, all of them are a little different, like anything else. Like I say to you guys all the time, I get little bits and pieces of information from everybody, and then I adapt it to my own situation. Kind of like I said to do with the prepping videos. You're not going to agree with everything I say. Take little bits and pieces of what I say. Take bits and pieces of what Rudy or Jason or Prepper Now or any of the other legitimate channels say, and put it all together into your own fit your own situation. Okay, we're gonna get shot to the bottom again and back up as far as I can go. Aaron Goodman, what I'm wondering is when Putin's going to activate all his sleeper cells stationed here. Yeah, that makes great for spy novels and conspiracy theories, but we hear, oh, there's Chinese sleeper cells here, and oh, there's Yakuza sleeper cells here, and everything like that. Well, yeah, okay, sure, and there's all sorts of. Let's go after the ones we know rather than, we can't go chasing after ghosts in the night, okay? Debbie Ivone, has the draft been reinstated? Not yet. But considering the enlistment numbers are considerably down again, should we need troops, you can bet that the draft would be reinstated if we went to war. Angels Arrive. Penny stoves are easy to make and use, needs very little ventilation, can warm up canned foods easy. Yeah, I mean, literally, what do you need for that? A bottle cap and a penny and a little bit of alcohol. I think something like that, or the underside of a tin can, I think it is. James Davis, I'm building a self-generating electric device that should provide lights and run a refrigerator. I saw something on this that looked kind of interesting, and I mean, I can see how you had an electric motor and a car alternator hooked up to like a battery strip, okay, power strip. And so the motor turns the generator or the alternator, which creates power, which runs power through the plug, but also repowers the motor. So the motor is powering itself and also giving enough power outside there. Conceptually, it in my head it works, but I'm not an engineer. But it's like, okay, how do you turn the thing on the first time? It's my question. And then once, so, but yeah, if that's what you're talking about, yeah, that'd be a cool idea, but again, I think of why the hell hasn't that been mass produced? Because there's creating your own electricity. Vester Dillon, dependability, cast iron skillet, and some fire for cooking. Again, but not if you're in your safe room. So please don't start an open fire inside your house. Sweet savory words. How important do I think a crowbar is? Very important. You need to have multiple sizes, small crowbars to big breaker bars. Okay, because you may need to break into a car, you may need to break into a house, a garage, whatever it would be. Yeah, multiple breaker bars and crowbars, absolutely. Pat Zimmerman, ask yourself this: EMP, no gas. Do you have hand tools, saws, axe? Oh yeah, oh yeah. I've got hand drills and saws, and obviously hammers and shovels and hoes and bow saws and everything like that. Yes, because all those things are going to come in handy. Charles Goki, thank you for the super chat. IRGC Media says missiles targeted secret Israeli base in retaliation for the two IRGC, it's Iranian Republican National Guard members killed in Syria by Israeli air raid last week. Okay, well, if the Republican Guard attack was targeting secret Israeli bases, how the hell did they wind up hitting the U.S. Embassy? That's great that they say some of that stuff, but okay, again, logic doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Sam Navarro, thank you as well. Just wanted your opinion on having chickens for prepping. We have 4 chicks for a couple of weeks ago. Figure eggs will go up in price. If you can have chickens and you have the knowledge on raising them, which apparently isn't that difficult, chickens are absolutely fabulous to have for multiple reasons. Like you said, eggs, okay? You can also have chicken dinner, okay? Once the layers are too old to lay anymore, now they become dinner. You get any males, they become dinner. Chicken manure is great fertilizer for your garden. You get a chicken tractor made, great for clearing out places to put a garden. I mean, chickens are a prepper's best friend when it comes to working around the yard. So yeah, definitely worth having chickens. David He, need to have 2 or more chainsaws with extra parts. Good point. That's 2 is 1 and 1 is none. The prepper's mantra. Chelsea Brado, what do you recommend in gardening if fallout dust is everywhere? If we get into that situation, your only option for anything like that is going to be hydroponics of some sort inside, and 99% of the people aren't going to be able to do it because you don't have either you don't have clean water inside, or you don't have the appropriate grow lights or anything like that. Sure, you don't need grow lights to grow lettuce. You need lights, but you don't need the ultraviolet and infrared lights to grow lettuce and stuff like that, but you can't survive on just lettuce and things like that. There isn't enough nutrients in them. So, yeah, we get into a situation like that. It's going to be very interesting for how you can cope, because, unless you've got good windows that are well sealed and you can get light through them, growing potatoes in buckets is going to be your option in the house, and you're going to be trying to grow it in newspaper or shredded up paper or whatever it is, because you're not going to have the soils to do it. You're going to be creating compost in the house with whatever you have. Ralph Brodka, hey, I get that you don't want for the USA to be the world police, but if not we, then who? That's the argument that everybody makes. And, frankly, I don't care, okay? We don't need the world police to come to the United States. If the world police, the UN, okay, needs to go into Ukraine, let the UN go into Ukraine, all right? If it turns up that Australia is the world police, let Australia go in there, okay? They don't need to come here. We're fine. We don't need you. Stay out. That's why I say, put up a 50-foot wall on the border of the United States, say, sorry, you can't come in, the end, we're done. I'd be perfectly happy with it. Pooh and Stitch, how to prepare store-bought potting soil to get rid of gnats before planting. I've done this. Take it outside, put it in a tote or a wheelbarrow or something like that. Pour boiling water over it first to hydrate all the soil. That will kill all the eggs, that will kill all the fungus gnats, and moisten the soil let it cool down a little bit, and then you can plant in it. But yeah, boiling water is your solution there. If you just got a little bit of it, you could throw it in the oven for half an hour or something like that at 250, and you're going to be fine. But if you're doing any sort of large amount, use boiling water. Yolt's Rex, you should not garden if ground is covered in fallout. Yes, absolutely. Why they don't garden in Chernobyl. Okay, let's see. Rhonda says, we will survive this all. God wins in the end. Yes, we will. Okay. We just have to stick together, keep doing what we're doing, keep sharing information, keep supporting one another, and keeping our eyes open, our ears open, and our mouth shut. When I say mouth shut, that's in regards to what we're doing. Okay. Tell the people that you want in your mag, don't tell the whole world. Unless, of course, you're on YouTube and you don't have any choice. But that's why I don't give out my address or my real name. So, Kid Carlson, we need Andy Taylor to tell him right from wrong. Yeah, just as long as we don't get Barney Fife in there helping out. But Chuck Norris, there you go. Yeah. Russell K, cooking inside, you can use sterno. Yes, I did bring that one up. Brenda Mackey, are we safe in Canada if nukes come? Again, it's like I said, when Chernobyl went off, the first time it was detected was up in, I believe it was in Finland. Okay. So, you're talking 1,000 miles away before we had the first notification of radiation, and that was just the way the wind was blowing. If the wind's blowing north, no, you're not safe. If the wind's blowing south, Mexico's not safe. So, and then it's not just that day, it's okay. Now the fallout's on the ground. Now, if we get strong winds or whatever, and it whips it up and takes it up north 2 weeks later, guess what? Now you got nuclear fallout up there too. So, Hector Prepper, I'll raise you a Sergeant York and an Audie Murphy. There we go. Doug Crum, how much snow did I get? About 5 inches. Josh Melby, maybe aliens will intervene. We got enough aliens coming across the southern border. We don't need any more coming in. Josh Mahay, did you see missiles from Iran into Iraq? You must have just got here because we've been talking about that for over an hour. Mike Roth, what was for dinner tonight at the PB Homestead? Chili. It was some of my homemade chili that we had canned and put up, and we just decided to have chili for dinner tonight. Deborah E. Kern, yeah, if Putin goes into Poland, we're all effed. Yep, very true, because that's World War III, guys, right there. No question. Amy Arsenault, I think Biden needs a ride to the train station. I'd rather give him a ride to the funeral home, but if we can put him on the tracks first, that might work. Robert Bates, no news about Iran, Saudi yet. I'm obviously not looking at the news. Nothing's come up, so I'll look afterwards. See if anything's there. If I glance real quick. Yeah, I don't see anything there. Just looking to see. Yeah, nothing I'm seeing yet in headlines, but in Europe at least. There we are. Okay. South Colorado Stetter, La Nina is supposed to last until August, bringing colder weather, just what we need. It's funny because it depends on who you talk to. Some people are saying colder weather. I've also heard that because of grand solar minimum, we're supposed to have a hotter summer than normal. So as per normal, it's the weather, and nobody has a freaking clue what it's going to do. Okay. Again, you tell me why it was 68 degrees yesterday. It's going to be 11 degrees tonight, and it's going to be 70 degrees on Monday. Okay. Call it whatever you want. Call it La Nina, call it grand solar minimum, call it cloud seeding, call it whatever you want. Okay. It's the freaking weather and there's nothing I can do to change it. I just got to deal with it. Back. Boy, they're loving zapping me to the bottom. Either that or I'm way behind. Josh Melby, who knows who's been sneaking over the Mexican border? Ain't that the truth? Wilderness Woman. Okay, then this generator thing. Hubby says it will not work due to losses from belts, drag, and heat. Okay. Like I said, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know, but that makes sense. Might work for a short time, but it wouldn't be perpetual. Yeah, TD brings up another one. Bolt cutters. Bolt cutters in addition to crowbars. Bolt cutters. You can get a set of small bolt cutters for probably about $30. Those are worth having. If you want to get the monster ones, they're just really heavy to carry around. But get a set of small bolt cutters. Those things are very handy to have, especially working around the garden. I use them for cutting cattle panels, for cutting concrete wire, anything like that. They're good to use for that stuff too. A lot easier than trying to do it with wire cutters or something like that. You're busting your hand up, just and done. Okay. Yes, non-alcoholic. See, NA. Loam Gallant, 20 miles from Fort Bragg, stick a fork in me. Yeah, you're probably pretty close to done. Wilderness Woman Chicken. There's another good point. Chickens are great alarms, like a barking dog. Yes. Mike Reese, thank you for the super chat. Mike says, when life puts up roadblocks, step back and see the way to go around it. Do what you can and never let someone tell you we can't. Yes, as humans, we're made to survive. I could not agree more with you. Thank you for saying that. James Davis, use a battery or battery operated ratchet. I've just got regular hand ratchets. I mean, a lot of the tools, obviously I've got power tools, but I've got hand tool backups for pretty much anything and everything that I could possibly need. What is the greatest threat to the U.S. sees? What is the greatest threat the U.S. sees homeland-wise? Cyber attack to the point of global rest. This is from Zach Kiefer. The country I think that poses the biggest threat to the United States is China, and the attack that inevitably will come from the Chinese first will be on the financial system, because they have not been quiet about stating their ambition to replace the dollar as the world reserve currency. So China's going to do whatever they can to destroy the dollar. And if they can succeed in that, then they can take down the United States without firing a shot. Let's see. Wyoming Yeti. None of this makes sense, but you can see more pieces of the jigsaw puzzle. That's the thing. You've got to, and this is what I try to do all the time. It's like, okay, this is going on here and this is going on. How do these somehow fit in together? And some of it you can see. Some of it we still can't figure out. Still halfway through making the puzzle. But, like I talked about the lunchtime video today about fuel and everything like that. This is a war of attrition. Putin knows that Europe can't operate without fuel, especially Germany, who's basically the biggest power in Western Europe, and they're completely dependent on Russia. Well, if they're going to cut themselves off, they got to get it from somewhere. And Putin knows this, so he's just going to wait them out. And like I said, you go right back to World War II. This is repeating itself all over again. Germany is just doing the same thing they did in World War II. They ran themselves out of fuel and then had to change everything else, change their entire plan based on fuel. That was it. And Germany's doing the same thing right now. They're cutting their nose off, cutting their legs off over fuel because, some 19-year-old in Sweden told them about this great idea to go green. Sweet savory words. For hydroponics, you have to have HydroGuard to keep algae and other bad things out of the water. Well, you got to have something, but it's better than keeping nuclear fallout out of it. LCM, thank you for the super chat. We booked a trip to Europe in May. Should I go? Depending on where you're going. If you're going to like Italy or France or London or something like that, you're probably okay. If you're going to Romania or Poland or Hungary, I think I'd get a refund. Josh Melby, U.S.-Mexico border is a serious problem. Yeah, to every American, politicians don't seem to think so, but, those of us who actually pay taxes, not live off them, yeah, we know it's a problem. North Shore, pressure can water for sterile water for your med preps. It's interesting. Okay. So now, if you pressure can it, are you turning it to steam and then recondensing it back into water, and that's how you're doing? I mean, how are you just pressure canning it, boiling the water and then just keeping it as boiled water? Is that what you're talking about? You're not talking about, you're just talking about sterilized water. You're not talking about purified water, correct? Commander CCN, thank you again for the super chat. See, I got the CCN part now. Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, Taliban, Venezuela, and more are working on their version of the Great Reset. Exactly, okay? None of them are following the Klaus Schwab plan. Charles Schwab, the Klaus Schwab plan, okay? They all have their own idea of the Great Reset. And there's not some little fat German guy that has anything to do with it, okay? It's like, oh, you're all going to speak Mandarin, or you're all going to speak Russian, or you're all going to kiss Kim Jong-un's shoes or knees or whatever the hell he wants to be. That's their idea of the Great Reset. Doesn't follow what Herr Klaus wants, okay? And none of the above are anything that any civilized person should want. Politicians are idiots, that's part of the job description, and then, okay, Prince Charles is in there too. Nobody's ever accused him of being a rocket scientist either. Josh Melby, anything can be smuggled across the American borders easily. Yeah, that's been proven for how many decades? Sweet savory words. I heard you can cover your garden with plastic to keep fallout out of soil. Sure, but then you have all the fallout on the plastic. And now when you move the plastic, how are you going to move that plastic? Yes, it will, but you can't get underneath there, okay? And are you going to trust it going, I think I got it all off cleanly? There's the problem. Maybe if you've got a permanent greenhouse, that would work, where nothing ever goes in and nothing ever gets out. But, just covering the garden with plastic and then removing the plastic, I don't see that as, it's better than nothing, but it's still a huge risk. Joan S., when can we meet the dogs? Probably when we get outside in the summertime and stuff like that. It's just easier to do stuff like that outside. I've had Daphne in a couple of videos. The one where I built where I showed you guys on building the root cellar. We were playing fetch with her at that point. So, if you want to go see the Border Collie, she's in that one. I think she's even in the thumbnail for the video. So, Tommy M., good point. Irradiated seeds won't grow. This is very true. It's why you can't ship seeds overseas, because they irradiate all the mail that comes into and out of the United States, so it doesn't grow. Beautiful day. Do I know anything about how to sugar cure a ham? No. Not the person to talk to for that one. That's not going to be me. Stephen Dilworth, organic seeds good for seeds? Absolutely. If you can, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be organic too. I mean, because you can go to the regular grocery store, buy a regular green pepper and plant the seeds out of it, and you're going to get green peppers. Okay. Organic only determines how that particular plant was grown. It doesn't mean anything for the next one. All right. April Carey, how does nuclear radiation finally go away or disappear? Time. That's it. And lots of it. I mean, you're talking about decades, if not centuries. Okay. Lori Campbell, what vape juice and Nick level am I vaping? I make my own juice and it's a 0.6. So, Mike Roth, you are yawning a lot. Are you going to bed early for the time change? I will go to bed as soon as this live stream's over, guys. Yes, because then, I get up 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock is usually about the latest I get up in the morning. So anywhere between 4:30 and 6 is when I get up. Oh, okay. Smoking Wheel Barbecue. Pinball must not watch Yellowstone. Train station is the funeral home. No, I don't watch Yellowstone, but okay, at least I had the right concept. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Going to scroll to the bottom again. Back to the top there. Idaho Prepper Gal. So where the heck did Fauci go? He disappeared. Think that might have been planned. When the wheels finally came off of the hoax, he ran and hid. And, there were a lot of people that had no problem getting him out of the limelight real quick. Make sure they forget it. Because I think it was Tucker Carlson put it yesterday. I watched the replay of his opening monologue this morning. He said, isn't it convenient how they took the emergency powers that they had for COVID, and as soon as that all started falling apart, now we have a problem in Russia, so we need emergency powers to deal with that? There's not a whole lot of people on TV that I can agree with most often. Sometimes Tucker will get a little out there, but most of the time he's got pretty good analytics. Let's see. The weather depends on the weather wizards, yes. Jim C., what do I think about a timeline for China going into Taiwan? I think China is really watching what's happening with Russia, Ukraine right now. China came out today and warned the U.S. not to sanction China, because remember, China is not agreeing to the sanctions with Russia. And so they're worried that the U.S. is going to sanction China for China not sanctioning Russia. And China has vowed retaliation if they do something like that. So, again, it comes down to the point of, nobody will buy Russian anything right now. I mean, we're pouring Stoli down the drain, regardless of the fact it's made in Latvia. But, what happens if the Americans all of a sudden stop buying Chinese products? That would be a way to do it. But hell, we've been asking the Americans to do this for 30 freaking years, and we can't do it. We're addicted to Chinese junk. Carla Palmer, thinking of potato going to seed is scary. Cackling hens lay tons of eggs. Oh, you just had to ruin it. God. Cute, though. Barney Fife is already in the White House. There you go. Mac Myers, try Lucky Gunner for some sporting calibers. Good company, too. Yeah, Lucky Gunner's another good one. I've never bought from them, but I have looked at them. Natalia T., any advice for a beginning prepper for highest priority? Food and water. Figure out your water situation first. Okay, go get yourself, some Sawyer minis or some Life straws or something that'll do that. that's going to be that's going to be at least an immediate way of solving your water problem. Okay, because that's a filter that'll filter, so you can drink rainwater or pond water or whatever would be if you need be. Okay, and then start prepping 101: beans, rice, dry goods. Get yourself oatmeal, get yourself dried beans, get yourself plenty of rice. You can live on that sort of stuff. Then, as you get enough to feed however big your family is for a month and 3 months and 6 months and a year, then start getting into more, and then concentrate on, when you're buying your food, don't go out and buy brownies and all this sort of stuff. You're now you have to get very nutritionally astute here. You need your proteins, you need your carbohydrates, you need your vitamins. Okay, so think about the school lunch that you had. You had a protein, you had a starch, you had a vegetable. There was a reason all that was there. You needed all of that in your diet. Same thing. Okay, and then buy what you're going to eat. And if you tell me that all you eat are potato chips and popcorn, been nice knowing you. That's it. But start with your water and food. That's the very, very first thing you need to get. Catra Campolieto, what are the best veggies to grow that produce the most? You're probably the ones that are going to be the most nutrient dense and all. Sweet potatoes, absolutely. Good ones to grow: peas, green beans. Those are good for nutrients. Potatoes would be good. I'm trying to think of ones that are relatively easy and that you can grow in smaller places. But yeah, I mean, sweet potatoes, absolutely. Potatoes, beans, peas, beets. Yeah, I'd say that if you grew those, you would have enough to keep the caloric intake up and keep the nutrition up. Connie, electric cars need gas to charge. Yeah, need something to make the electricity. That's for sure. Unless you're AOC and think, well, hey, I can just stand out there with a kite and a key and I can collect, electricity. So, Stephen Dilworth, are organic seeds worth it? No, because the seeds mean nothing. It's how you grow the plant, whether or not it's organic or not. I can take an organic plant, I can fill it with a ton of chemicals, and therefore it's not organic. I can take a plant that was grown with a ton of chemicals on that plant last year, the seed was still the seed, and then I can make it an organic plant the next year. Depends on how you grow it, not what you got. Organic, GMO, all that sort of stuff is just marketing to get you with more money. I'm going to scroll down here a second. I saw there we go. Charles, thank you for the super chat. Get potassium iodide. Prices are going up on it. Yes, very true. If you noticed, most of Europe is sold out. So that's pretty scary in itself when the Europeans are worried enough about Putin going nuclear nuts that they're selling out of potassium iodide. Lady Hammer, my garden survived the freeze, but my potatoes froze. Will they grow back? You're gonna what would I do with that? Did the seed potatoes freeze, or did the plants just get freezer burn on them? The tops that came up. And again, I don't know how big they are. If the seed potatoes froze, they're toast. Okay. If just the tops got burned, they'll come back. If the entire top plant got taken out by the freeze, to be on the safe side, I'd replant. Let's put it that way. Yeah, yeah, I'd replant. If the greenery's dead, chances are the whole potato, you killed the whole plant. So obviously, there's nothing you did wrong. It's the same with my peas. If they survive, they survive. If they don't, they don't. I can't control the weather. Kim, hope Constantine gets out soon. From what he said, he's not leaving. His family and Natasha's family are all still there. Their parents, and I can't blame them for not leaving their parents. So, but guy, as soon as all hell breaks loose, I'm making a still and going to town. There you go. Believe it or not, you will have a booming business because there will be a whole lot of people that are going to be like, I need to get away from this thought process for a while. Wilderness woman next to TV reporting U.S. Air Force in the air, missile strikes on Tehran expected. Oh, joy. Okay, wait till we see what happens in the morning. This is going to be interesting. Yep, Cindy Rice, fill your empty jars with water when you have room in the canner. I've said that before too. When you're storing empty mason jars, just keep watering them. Okay, they're going to take up the same amount of space. At least that way you got a little bit of water. Don't you want to not waste the water? Use it to water your house plants or whatever it is. When you want to go use the can. North Shore. Okay, good. Yeah, distilled water is different. Okay. Robert Bates definitely not following the Charles Schwab plan. Yes. South Colorado Stetter, buy alcohol or make your own costs can double by the end of summer. Oh, easily. Moonshine for barter, absolutely. That's why you guys got my video on making wine, on making Applejack. I do not have a still. I've never done that before. Stuff I can make. And okay, so we came back. We blipped for a second there. So maybe you guys didn't even lose me. Okay. TD just got a 5-gallon skill from Vevor for $106. Lots of potential for prepping. Yes, distilled water I think is going to be huge, and obviously making whatever moonshine that you can possibly be too. Caillou 7, how quick do you think the government would try to switch to CBDC? Here's the interesting part. The executive order that Biden signed the other day telling the special committee to give him a report in 180 days. Okay, so that's 6 months. Here we are, that's the middle of March. 6 months from now is the middle of September, okay, which means we're 6 weeks before the election. Depending on what the Republicans do, Biden's not going to be able to get it through. They're not going to be able to push CBDC through in 6 weeks and then say, oh, tough, we know we just got killed in the election, but this is all, we're going to do this anyway. If all the Republicans start getting on saying, hey, this is a good idea, then it's time to overthrow the government. I mean, that's it, because CBDC is just, you think Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme? Now this is a Ponzi scheme run by the government, okay? Then the world is doomed at this point. B, how do you remove fallout? From what? Okay, hard surfaces are easier than, you're not going to remove it from soils. You can brush it from a hard surface, like from your car or anything like that, and then, wash it off real well, et cetera, and decontaminate that way. But it's going to go somewhere. And if you're washing it off, it's going to go in the sewer system, which means it's going to go in the water supply. There's no way, guys, if that happens, you may get away from it for a short time, but you ain't going to get away from it for a long time. Okay. That's just the sad way to put it. I mean, go, yeah, with the the technology that they've got in nuclear warheads and stuff like that now. I mean, a lot of us are going to probably wish we died in the blast rather than survive it. Yeah. Kim says, don't forget daylight savings time. Yes, guys, everybody make sure you put your clocks ahead an hour tonight. Yes, we all lose an hour's sleep. So lucky me. I'll probably sleep till 6. So if I'm a little late tomorrow morning on a video, that's why, guys. Let's see, where else are we? Lorna, both of my dogs were featured in my recent homemade dog food video. Well, at least their butts were, because God knows their mouths were busy. Cindy Rice, I want to see your corgi. One of mine could run 26 miles an hour. We clocked his little bunny butt. We'd be lucky if we get 2.6 miles an hour because blind dogs do not run. They're afraid of running into something. So every once in a while, he'll take a few little leaps, and then he's like, okay, I can't do anymore. Tracy Coffin, best way to keep ants out of mulch from around my fruit trees. I don't know. I don't have the problem. Buy an anteater? I mean, you could use boiling water. You know, obviously you don't want to use gasoline or something like that. Yeah, that one I don't know. I'm not going to be the right person asking that one. Take a look on David the Good's channel. Maybe he's got an answer for that because between living in, was it Mississippi and Costa Rica, he's had to have those problems. So I think that would be the best place to get that one there. Hiker Glenn, I can't believe I don't have a massive greenhouse. I've only been here. Guys, this is only my 3rd summer here. Okay, give me time. I'm still trying to get all my garden soil built in my gardens yet. I just got a shed here last fall. Unfortunately, I don't have a magic wand going out one of these and one of these and one of these. It's like it takes a lot of work, you know, and there's only so much time I have. James Davis, could you take the top portion of radiated soil and still grow in it? I have no clue. And again, how far do you know how do you know how far it got down? How are you going to move the soil? Where are you going to put it? I mean, those are questions that are way beyond my pay grade. So, 1,000 Mile Vision. Montana and Texas have said screw it and started drilling again. I saw Montana did. I hadn't seen Texas, so good. I mean, and that's what it's going to be. Eventually, this is where I say balkanization, guys. Eventually, the states are going to say, you know, up yours to the federal government. We need to do this. We don't care what you say, and they're going to do it anyway. And that's the civil war that'll start in the U.S. Missy Stevens DeSantis said he was in the witness protection program. There you go. Kim, Fauci's not out of the woods. Wait till the Republicans take over Congress. Oh, yeah. They've already come out and said they are opening, once they take over the House, they are opening a full investigation into him. And I can't wait to see that little prick in handcuffs and an orange jumpsuit. Rather see him at the end of a rope. I bet Jimmy Hoffa knows where Fauci is. We could only hope. That would only be nice if they were, you know, laying next to each other on Telegraph Road somewhere. Sicilian Girl Gennady, what are my thoughts on something very big happening before the 2022 election? Probably pretty good. Okay. Paula Shields, it's been nice knowing you don't think we'll have power for long or comms. That's very possible. I mean, it's funny. I said this a couple of weeks ago. Every morning I get up, when I hit that light switch in the bathroom, I'm like, okay, we still have power. The world hasn't died yet. There's going to be a day where I'm going to go flip and there's going to be nothing there. And the 2 words are going to be, oh shit. All right. Brenda Mackey, we'll miss you when we have no more power and internet. Thank you for all the great info. Well, hopefully it doesn't happen soon, but hopefully it doesn't happen ever, but I'm not holding my breath. South Colorado Senator, China's sending humanitarian aid to Ukraine, will arrive Monday, must be to look good. Of course, yeah, I mean, that's it. There's nothing, trust me, nothing's done without an ulterior motive when you're a politician. Sweet Savory Words, there's one time a year the Sea of China is calm, March, exactly. Heather Smith, salt and sugar for food preservation, old style, yes. Smoking, another way. Trent McMurray says, I've had good luck with Gun Prime for 5.56 ammo. I've never even heard of them, but that's another good one to know of. I'm trying to run through a bunch of them here quick. Mike Roth, got everything prepped. Should I move on to stacking vice items now for barter, etc.? I got everything prepped. So you've got enough food to last you and your family the rest of your life. Do you have all your medical suture kits and ammo and weaponry and self-defense and body armor, everything like that? I don't ever believe there is a I'm done prepping. Okay, there's always something else you can add to the kitty. So I'm not a big fan of stocking vice items. Maybe alcohol. Okay, cigarettes go stale. Playboy magazine's worthless anymore. But yeah, so vice items aren't going to be as sought after as food is going to be. Food, not that you're going to want to trade food or anything like that, but think what people are going to want more. They're going to want that bottle of Jack Daniels, or they're going to want that can of beans. They're going to probably want that can of beans. So, all right, guys, it's 10 o'clock. That is 2 hours. I'm toast. I'm going to bed. Y'all have a good night. Set your clocks ahead. We'll see y'all sometime in the morning. Pray to God that we're not bombing Tehran tonight. Pinball out.